back to basics, fundamentally the belief is that certain core characteristics of consumers, let's say of users, hasn't necessarily changed. Right? This could be the need to engage, the need to belong, the need to be recognized, the need to be able to derive certain value. These are fundamental things that have transcended time, right? So automatically, if you're a marketer, you would realize that irrespective of the digital transformation, irrespective of how much change may have happened, irrespective of pandemics and whatever that has caused, fundamentally speaking, some basic elements which I spoke about remain exactly the same, right? So if you're not able to factor in those parameters, those concepts, those fundamental values, within your marketing strategy, then obviously you're missing a trick. Look, the face of marketing has been changing for quite some time. If I look back 20 odd years, if I look back even early 2000s, 23, 24 years, if you look at the first .com revolution, if you look at the advent of the internet, if you look at the transition from traditional modes of, let's say, advertising or communicating to more digital modes of advertising and communicating, that had already started 20-25 years back. Right? Of course, the amount that you spend, let's say, on digital mechanisms was lesser than traditional mechanisms. So it could have been, let's say, an organization says 10% will be spent on digital assets and 90% will be spent on traditional assets. And now it's actually turned completely the opposite direction. Right? So this whole change has been there for a long period of time. Of course, it depends on the nature of your brand. It depends on the nature of your target audience. It depends on the nature of the region that you operate in, which will determine how much do you spend on which particular asset. But the fact remains that your ability to gather information, your ability to gather data, your ability to analyze chatter that people are having about your brand or about how they use your brand, what they feel about your brand, that potential to gain more knowledge about you, to help you in different ways, for example, product development, for example, service development, has gone up many fold, right? So it's not just about whether I am applying digital methods of advertising or communication or marketing, but it's also about, even if I'm doing traditional mechanisms, have I created a mechanism to listen to my vast base of target audience, my vast base of consumers through technology, right? So it has got impacted. How I analyze information, how much data do I use, large language models, all this has completely changed marketing. Are we ready for it? Have we been able to factor it in? Have we been able to ensure that our people have the right skill sets to be able to take advantage of that? Those are big questions. Look, what is brand positioning? Brand positioning at the very fundamental level is occupying, or in a way renting a space in the mind of the consumer, right? Now, that is coming at a premium. When you rent a space in the mind of the consumer, is coming at a premium because there's a lot of competition around. You can easily get displaced in that rental space by somebody else, right? So how do you maintain that space in the mind is a challenge. At the same time, the challenge also is this whole concept of ROI, this whole concept of return on investment, this whole concept of the fact that if I'm spending a certain amount of money, am I deriving the right kind of value, right? And this is very much prevalent in a market, which is India, wherein a larger proportion of people will be people who are essentially value conscious, at this moment of time, right? So how do you then communicate that value to them is still remains, a big challenge. Even after people buy products, even after people buy services, they still think, have I done the right thing? Have I done, should I have bought this product? Should I have bought this particular service? Right? So your challenge doesn't end as soon as somebody pays your money for your product. The challenge remains even after. Right? So those are big challenges.